For now, I want to tell you that even this attempt that we have made, where we have accurately used double equal to, doesn't lead to the same behavior in Python versus C. Let me show you. If I actually run this code through in Python Tutor, eventually it will print the inverse of 1001 as this number. Now, this number is printed using 18 digits after the decimal. So let us go back to the printf statement in C and understand how that too is going to try and print 18 digits after the decimal, so that we can compare the value that C produces easily with the value that Python produces. So here is this printf statement. It's saying print firstly the letters inverse brackets, and then print something as a decimal, and then later print something that is not a decimal but f. F stands for float. So you will see that there are two percentages. The first percentage corresponds to n, which we want to print as a decimal, and the second thing, the f, corresponds to whatever is returned by the inverse function. And that floating point value we want to print with 18 digits after the decimal. So the syntax is %.18, and then the f reminds us that this is going to be printed as a floating point value. If you do the mathematical calculation, you will see that this pattern, if you repeat it infinitely often, is indeed the correct answer. But what happens if we run the C code? Well, the C code produces this answer, 0. Why is the C code producing 0? These two pieces of code look very, very similar. We have fixed the error here in both the Python and the C code. But why is it that this code is returning pretty much the correct answer, whereas this one is returning 0? Well, the difference is in the meaning, the semantics of this forward slash operator. Remember, in Python, forward slash, single slash is true division. So even though 1 and n are integers, this is not integer division, it is going to do true division, and it is going to return a float. But in C, that same symbol has a different meaning. If the numerator and the denominator are both integers, then this is not true division, this is integer division. And by the way, integer division in C is not the same as floor division in Python. For positive values like 1 and 1001, integer division in C behaves just like floor division. We will calculate the answer, and remember, in Python we round the result down towards minus infinity on the number line. In C, we calculate the answer and we discard whatever is after the decimal. So if the values involved in the division are both positive, discarding or truncating the values after the decimal is exactly the same as rounding towards minus infinity. But if the answer after division is negative, in C we will still discard the values after the decimal. That, if you think about it carefully, corresponds to rounding towards 0 rather than towards minus infinity. So as an example, if you take -1 /2, in C, this will produce the integer 0. Whereas if you do -1 floor division 2 in Python, you will get the answer -1. Try it out and make sure you understand. This is yet another example of how you can have the same syntax And that syntax has two very different meanings. It's important to keep these points in mind when we're learning a new language, and this is a tricky point.